All right, hello. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us today to talk about the forecast. And like I said, I've got some good and I've got some bad news about this heat wave. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not going to break any, or fortunately, we're not going to break any records, but unfortunately, it's going to feel just as hot today as it did yesterday. So that's some good and some bad news. I guess the good news is at least we won't break a record. All right, let's take a look outside. By the way, how are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. Let me see if we get some messages already. Hey, Gail, how are you doing? Rita, how are you? Good to see you. Also, oh, hey, we got a viewer from Houston. Is that Kitty? Is that the way you pronounce that? I think so. That's what it looks like. Hi. And we've got Nikki. How are you doing? Oh, you want the bad news? Well, I wish I'd have seen the comments, and then I could have done the bad news first. So that's the way you like it, huh? You like the bad news first, all right? Again, bad news, it's going to feel every bit as hot as it did yesterday. Ann, how are you doing? Yeah, another bad news first. Everybody likes the bad news first. Maybe I'm the opposite. I think I kind of like the good news first. That way I can digest the bad news a little bit better anyway. But tell everybody we said hi out in Del Rio. Mary, how are you doing today? All right, it's warm, it's humid, it is summer across South Texas. There is no doubt about that. Temperature right now is 84 degrees, Calaveras Lake 83. Did have a pretty good deck of clouds here in the city this morning, but those are mixing out. And I don't want to bore you to death, but the whole process of this mixing out business is you've got the sun, it hits the earth, okay, and then the earth warms and warms from the underground up, and that deck of clouds, well, as it warms up, it kind of does this kind of a motion and works on those clouds, and they start as the clouds kind of move up, they encounter drier air, and that drier air helps to mix them out, and they literally dissipate, and that's the stage we're in right now. It is partly cloudy outside. All right, let's go back to yesterday. Yes, it was hot. 102 degrees yesterday, 103 New Braunfels. We tied the record, by the way, here in the city at 102. Del Rio has come down. You know, I don't know if you knew this, but 2 days ago, Del Rio hit 112. The day before yesterday, 111, and then they had 106 yesterday. So it's been one hot week out across South Central Texas. So really hot. All right, let's take a look at, we've got the current temperatures. Let's take a look at that. Right now we're in the 80s. Temperature is 84 degrees over at Pleasanton. Temperature is 87. Floresville coming in at 87, and Kerrville is at 82. 88 degrees down around Cotulla. Beeville 89. Port Lavaca coming in at about 90. And since we do this on Facebook, I can kind of do an audible. I'm going to do a Omaha, you know. I'm going to just change things up a little bit because I can. Let's take a look at what it feels like. You know, it's 90 degrees already down. Woo! I knew it was going to be like that. 90 degrees at Port Lavaca. You add the humidity, and right now, what time is it? It's 10:30 in the morning at Port Lavaca. It feels like 107. My goodness. Over at Beeville, feels like 101. And if you've got anything to do outdoors right now, you know it's hot. It feels like 90 already here in the city. Seguin feels like 91. Look at Gonzales. Gonzales feels like about 97 as well. All right, the one thing I don't like is the humidity is coming up. You know, a lot of times when we have one of these heat waves and you got this upper level ridge of high pressure, literally it's a sinking motion in the atmosphere and you won't have a cloud in the sky in the afternoon. Well, it's weakened a little bit, so there's not as much of that sinking motion. I think that with a little bit more of a surge of moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico is going to help to keep those dew points up, because usually in the morning we'll have a dew point in the 70s, and then in the afternoon as low as the 50s. And so there's not much of a heat index that way. Well, I think today may be a little different. This computer model has got a dew point of 66, not really dropping off that much. So I think we're going to have a real healthy heat index later on this afternoon. So the air temperature, I'm going to go with about 101 for a high, but I think the heat index could be every bit of 104, maybe 105 degrees. So like I said, I've got some good news and some bad news. That's the bad news. And for those that like the bad news, I kind of gave the bad news second, so sorry about that. Hey, Glennies, how are you doing? I guess it's Glennis. Grew up in Port Lavaca. No, that humidity is no joke, no doubt. And at 1 o'clock, I'm going to be talking about Hurricane Harvey. It's been 3 years almost since Hurricane Harvey made landfall at Rockport. I was in Port Lavaca and had a pretty good storm surge. We'll talk all about that, but tell everybody down in Port Lavaca said hi. Duchess, how you? And Eddie, please bring some rain. Eddie, I hate to disappoint you, and I'm going to go ahead and give it away. I just don't see much. We're in one of those patterns that just not going to bring us much rainfall. I'm going to throw in really slight isolated chances for rain starting Sunday, I think Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, but don't get excited about rain. I just don't see a very good chance at all. And Mona, hey, good morning. Jane, hello from Del Rio. Tell everybody hi, and tell everybody in Del Rio to stay cool, and if you have to work outdoors, just take breaks. Okay, let's take a look at the water vapor imagery. Love this water vapor. Okay, now it doesn't show the upper level, so you can see it over there. It doesn't really show this. By the way, we're going to go back 2 days. Okay, we're going to go back a couple of days because I want to show you something. I've got the map behind me, but I don't know if I can really point it out very well. I know you can see the map over there, but I want to show you what we're looking at. First of all, a lot of times when we have a summer-like upper level ridge across Texas, you can really see it, and it shows up, actually shows up a little bit better across the eastern part of the country. It's really a pretty broad ridge from the southern plains, including Texas, all the way back into the deep south. But what's happening with us, I think, is we'll have some thunderstorms that come off the mountains of Colorado and into the plain states, and some of that cirrus clouds kind of gets swirled around and hasn't dissipated. So it looks like we've got some moisture, but we really don't. It's drier than what it looks like. Anyway, I'm putting this into motion here, and I want you to look over around Florida. You see that Florida and Mississippi and Alabama? You can see that upside down U feature. That's a weakness in the overall upper level ridge of high pressure. You can kind of make out that circle, kind of oval, really, really pronounced here around Texas and also around South Carolina and North Carolina. Well, there's a literal weakness. It's not as strong in Mississippi and Alabama. And so yesterday had some thunderstorms over around there. And this morning, you can still see that upside down U. That's what we call an inverted trough. And it's going to be moving around the upper level ridge in our general direction. At this point, you're like, I don't really know what that is really, but it sounds like it could bring us a chance for rain. Don't get excited because I just don't think it's going to bring. Now, if you're watching from Goliad, if you're watching from Victoria, yeah, perhaps Hallettsville, maybe our eastern counties, you might pick up an isolated shower, maybe even as early as tomorrow. But I just don't see much here for San Antonio. So let's take a look. This is what I'm talking about. You got the upper level ridge of high pressure that's really fairly strong from Texas all the way back into the Carolinas. But you see that upside down U feature right there around New Orleans, northern Gulf Coast, kind of moves eastbound. And then showers will develop along the coastal sections and maybe eastern counties. And then perhaps trying to work in on Saturday. I'm just not going to go for it. But I'm going to tell you what I think will happen. Sunday, that high is going to be more centered over towards Missouri, and we'll have a little weakness over Texas, maybe just enough that in the afternoon, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and maybe even into Wednesday, we might have a chance for an isolated shower develop in the afternoon. Don't count on much more than that. So bad things are going to happen, I think. And really, this dry pattern, once you get like this, have you noticed that the grass is getting browner, yellower, everything's just drying up, and a lot of times when we get one of these patterns and the ground really starts to bake, a couple things happen. One is the drought monitor will start to find ourselves in a moderate or severe drought, and I think that's where we're headed to here in San Antonio. Not only that, but also our aquifer really drops off, and that's happening as well. We're in stage 1 water restrictions, but it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't end up in stage 2. So we need some rain, but I just don't see much. All right, high temperatures this afternoon, I think about 101 or so. This computer model is going with 100, but I think we'll probably do a degree better than that. Unless the humidity really stays up, then yeah, we'll see a high of 100, but here's the bad news. The heat index would be 106 or 107, so no consolation there at all. Let's see, Bradley, hey, looks like I need to go home. I'm not sure where home is, Bradley, but you may have to do that. And Zachary, all right, how you doing? Oh, you're ready for hurricane season. You know, I tell you, Bradley, I think hurricane season is going to start cranking up. We haven't seen a whole lot of activity here in the Gulf of Mexico, but I think it is going to start to crank up here over the next month or two. There's no doubt about that. All right, tomorrow, 100 degrees. All right, so that inverted trough that I was talking about, you can see creating some showers, perhaps Goliad, Victoria tomorrow afternoon, but not making much movement to the north. And the reason for that is we've got just a real hostile atmosphere that is really dry. So these showers and the way that this works a lot of times when you have one of those inverted troughs, yeah, you'll have showers, but not straying very far from the Gulf of Mexico. And I think that's exactly what's going to be the case as we head into Friday. And this computer model doesn't really go much into Saturday. No. And Saturday, I'm not very optimistic about it either. So let's take a look at the heat index for today. This particular computer model has 104. I think that's probably about right. Maybe even 105 or so. So it's hot. If you've got to spend any time outdoors, just limit your time. All right, this is going to be fun, and it's going to be kind of sad at the same time. You're not going to like this. But this is the GFS model. This is the American model of kind of a longer range model, and we've got the European. But let's just take this day by day. Saturday, of course, no rain. I think Sunday, I'm going to throw in a 10%, but you see what it's got here? 0. Monday, Tuesday, maybe, what is that, a hundredth of an inch. I think that's probably going to be about right, even though I think we'll have some isolated showers around Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. They're going to be very isolated, so don't count on rain in your backyard. I wish I had better news for you. Let's take this all the way out to the 26th. Look at that, barely more than a tenth of an inch. And really, for the rest of the month, I'd be surprised if we picked up more than a half an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch. So that's bad news, so a couple of things are going to happen. We may find ourselves at the end of the month in stage 2 water restrictions, and that drought monitor is definitely going to go up. All right, let's take a look at the Saharan dust. Let's kind of change the gears a little bit. Take a look at that. If it loads up, there we go. We got another little bit of that dust coming through the Caribbean over the last couple of days. That was 2 days ago, Tuesday. There's Wednesday. And by the way, I put on this, I left the precipitation in place. Can't remember which model this is, but anyway, we'll take a look. So here's a look at today. Just you see just a little bit of that yellow. I don't think you'll really notice it too bad. On Friday, let's see, Friday. This computer model has those showers getting close to us on Friday. I don't think so. And then Saturday, yeah, some of that dust kind of working in. Not a lot, just a little bit. So anyway, today, Friday, Saturday, you may notice a little bit of a haze to the atmosphere. That's that dust. And then I think we're done with the dust for a while. I don't see much more coming off of Africa, so that's not going to be really affecting us very much at all. All right, let's see if we get any more messages here. Okay, Eddie. All right, here's your 7-day. Let's take a look at this. You're not going to like it because it's got a lot of heat and very little chances for rain. Again today, 101. Friday, 100. Now that upper level ridge, because I showed you earlier, that ridge is going to weaken a little bit. And as that happens, I'm going to take those temperatures down. But the heat index is still going to be with us. It's still going to be hot. It's still going to feel like anywhere from 100 to 105 degrees. So definitely hot. Upper 90s for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And yes, I know it looks like I just kind of threw darts at the board and put 98 just for the heck of it. But I didn't. I do the math on all these days, and 98's about what I came up with. So I think every day, you know, we could hit 99, 90, maybe 97, 98, 99, each one of those days, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I'm going to throw in, with that ridge being a little weaker, daytime heating doing the trick, a little more humidity, maybe a 10% chance of rain Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But rain total is going to be really almost nothing, even if you're lucky to get underneath one of those showers. So what I'm trying to tell you is don't rely on rain showers and just count on a lot of heat over the next 7 to 10 days. It just does not look very good. I wish I had better news for you. So mainly just kind of some bad news. So anyway, hey, thanks for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of the morning into the afternoon, and join me at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk about Hurricane Harvey, the aftermath after about 3 years, how Rockport is doing today. And don't forget to catch Stacia. That's coming up at noon. And also you can catch, I think, Bill later on this evening, 4, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. All right. Thanks a bunch. I enjoyed it. We'll see you later.